widely known that a standard Ejagham language orthography has been proposed by the project's technical team. Nevertheless, to display astute professionalism, to guarantee infallible proficiency, the technical team thus embarked on a strategic engagement with all Ejagham traditional councils and associations in Nigeria and Cameroon. The key objective of this engagement was to validate the proposed orthography that has been developed through a systematic analysis of all Ejagham dialects. This engagement with the traditional council and association of the different clusters in Nigeria and Cameroon took place as follows. Akamba, December 16, 2022 at Akamba Local Government Secretariat, Cross River State, Nigeria. Bako, December 20th, 2022 at the Shibo Town Hall, Ogoja Local Government Area, Nigeria. Etung, December 21st, 2022 at Efriaya Etung Local Government Secretariat, Cross River State, Nigeria. Njamaya, Ngunaya, Anobang, Ejagham in Cameroon, January 31st, 2023 at Trinity Hotel, Limbe, Cameroon. Kwo, January 31st, 2023 at the Department of Linguistics and Nigerian Languages, University of Calabar, Nigeria. 4 key activities framed this engagement. The first was the exhibition of the proposed orthography. Here, the consonant, vowel chart, syllable structure and tone were explained in detail to participants.
We have the consonant chart, which I would like us to look at. These sounds are sounds of the International Phonetic Alphabet, the IPA. So the IPA sounds are sounds that are recognized internationally. That is, they are sounds that are used for languages in the world. So you find these same sounds that we have analyzed in Ejagham in the IPA. So this is specifically for the Ejagham language. If you look at the English language, the French language, they are not exactly the same sounds. This is typically for the Ejagham language. And all the varieties that we speak are found in these sounds. So we have consonants and we have displayed them, put them in according to place and manner of articulation. So we have the stops, which we also have in the IPA, the p, b, t, d, p, b, k, and g. Those are the stops that we have in the language.
Another critical activity was the Ejagham language intelligibility test, which sought to determine the degree of intelligibility of the different Ejagham varieties.
Ifufe.
Edro.
Efebe. Efeb.
Efeb.
Efebe.
Ezezoko.
Efebe.
The third activity was the Ejagham Language Ecology and Endangerment Survey. The objective of this survey was to redefine the language ecology and endangerment among Ejagham speakers in Nigeria and Cameroon. It was designed to extract data to implement a location-aware infrastructure that will function proactively in real time to show the ecology of the language and precise visualization of its vitality status.
Of speakers within the sample population. All speakers all speak the language. Nearly all speak the language. A majority speak the language. A minority speak the language. Very few speak the language. None speak the language. Now these are the grades. If you choose the first, it means it scores the highest index. If you choose the second, the second highest. And that is how it descends.
This engagement concluded with the overall feedback from participants. There was a general expression of gratitude to EJT and the technical team for initiating, facilitating, and sustaining this invaluable project.
The work that has been done in this place. Personally, I'm one of the people that have had a very lukewarm attitude towards it because I cannot understand many things. I just found somebody who was always traveling to Nigeria. And a lot of questions kept coming. Why is always going to Nigeria? Today I've discovered that there's a lot of work he has done and there's still much to be done. And I want to especially congratulate the team that has come from Nigeria. It's a whole sacrifice, and I think that it needs a pat on their back. I want to appreciate all of us who have been able to stay that long in this place, because honestly I didn't think that it was going to take much time, but it is worth staying because it's the future of the Ejagham community. And I pray that the good Lord who started this using some people will cause it to completion, and we shall also pray. Thank you very much.
So, there is a fine time with your studies, with your research, to do what you are doing. May God bless you. Father, you're ready to do that. I have no question. The younger ones who are following you, may God bless you. May God bless you. And to God will give all the glory. I thank God for bringing you up. I thank God for what you do. And in the end, I think the Ejagham people will come back to their dominant role. In Jesus' name.
The very prospect of having a standard Ejagham language for use in learning institutions has bettered the euphoria of a new dawn across the Ejagham universe. There were some uniquely significant moments during this engagement. The first was the visit of members of the technical team with all three Ejagham clusters in Cameroon under the umbrella of the Umojok Traditional Association. This was also the first time that a contingent of Ejeti traveled to Cameroon to meet with their kid and kin. It was nothing short of a glorious reception and rapturous reunion. The chief host was His Royal Highness Chief Moses Obinufundi. Speaking on behalf of the Umojok Traditional Association, he expressed immense gratitude to Ejeti for initiating this project and for including all Ejagham clusters in Cameroon.
You can't imagine how happy I am to be here, and what a pleasure it is to have our brothers from Nigeria. Professor, he will not be in church tomorrow. Reverend Father will not be in church tomorrow in his congregation, and he sacrificed to be here. Our younger brother, I could say, and his name is wonderful. But let me say this, that is a wonderful job that is being done by Ejeti. And that we thank them very much. I want to extend our greetings, the greetings of the chiefs of Umojok, to one of our sons, who is the president of Ejeti. He calls me very often and talks very often about the progress of the Ejagham people. And it is those calls that make me have the commitment that I have for the Ejagham cause. We have, in the course of these discussions, noticed that we will need what you call your technical language primers. We will need people to be trained to teach Ejagham, and those things cost money. And I'm happy I'm not the one who thought about it. It's Chief Bayen, our senior father, who is here, who taught me and said, look, you just cannot leave these people doing those things like that. Let us find a way to raise some money to support the movement. Pastor let me sit and came and said the same thing. So I think the sensitization, since we have been doing work here, or since the Nigerian team came, I think the sensitization team is taking grounds, and our people are beginning to know that no, we cannot just sit quiet and let our brothers alone do. So while we don't have money, we will try to mobilize the Ejagham chiefs, the Ejagham children, the Ejagham meetings, that's why we brought leaders of meetings here, to know that what is going on to further our language, which is the vehicle of our culture, so that we can make little contributions, whatever little contributions we can make for the language to continue. So we are not the first, but we who are doing now from EJT are the most organized. Because we are using our professionals, and it's a very good thing. It remains for me to thank EJT, particularly those who travel. It is risky to travel on our roads at this time, but because of the cost, the Reverend Father and his younger brother decided to face the risk, take the risk to come here. And we thank God that they arrived safely, and they have done the work that should be done to our satisfaction. We know that we are struggling with funding the association. The level of work we have done, as Abunduku said, we cannot quantify the money you have used. But for you to sponsor yourself to Cameroon, and again think of giving us these gifts, is such a wonderful thing. I don't know what else we require from our brothers. This is just wonderful, and I'd like you to give them a hand for what they are doing. We thank you very much. We thank you very much. We thank you very much. We now know that we have real brothers. Brothers who did not want to leave us behind as they were making their progress. Those are real brothers. So we now know that we have real brothers in Nigeria, and we will work together for the furtherance of Ejagham language and the Ejagham people. I must say that we are not politicians who are going to start meddling with frontiers. No, that's not our business. Our business is the Ejagham people. So as we speak, the chief of a corps is here. He would always recognize, he is at the border, he will recognize that his brothers are on the other side, and make sure that when he will be speaking the same language and he speaks the same like you people, he will know that, no, these are my brothers. And that will be the case for all of us. We thank God for giving you people the vision. They say that from every bad thing, from every word, every cloud is a silver lining. So for every bad thing, if you take it positively, a good thing will come out. Thank you, and we ask you to extend our greetings to all the Ejagham people you will meet in Nigeria, and we take a commitment that this movement, which we have started, we will not let it die in Cameroon. It will survive and will achieve the results. Thank you very much.
There was an outpouring of encomiums by other participants as well. Also, there was a unanimous decision by the association to source for and provide a measure of financial support to the project. Participants were treated to a pre-event breakfast and post-event lunch. Another highlight of the event was a voluntary donation by members of the association, which generated to the sum of 57,000 CFA francs that was handed over to the contingent from Nigeria to support their transportation fare back home. The meeting with the Ejagham Traditional Association remains the premier engagement that best encapsulates the euphoria of a new dawn for all Ejagham people across the globe. On the Nigerian side, delegates from the College of Atoe, the NDIDEM's Council and a technical team led by the Dean, Faculty of Arts, University of Calabar, Professor Stella Ikwe, paid a courtesy visit to the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, University of Calabar, Professor Angela Oyoita, and briefed her on the state of the project.
This department has been involved in an ongoing project that has to do with the language of the indigents here. So they have gone around a number of locations, and now they are visiting the university that is located in the soil.
These are the members of the Ejagham Traditional Council. The department, in collaboration with AJT, had worked to revise the Ejagham Orthography, also to see how the Ejagham language can get into the school system, can be institutionalized, both within and outside Nigeria.
In her remarks, the DVC commended the Department of Linguistics and Nigerian Languages for facilitating this project and described it as an exercise that will elevate the status of our indigenous language to become a modern language.
It's a laudable one. When we talk about modern languages, we wonder which ones are ancient.
That's a good one.
It's good to start with indigenous languages that we know and to keep them alive. So I believe that the project will not just put on the language itself, but the culture, which has a lot to do with the grooming of our young ones. Because some of these strange things we see around, they are not part of our culture. And then as we move on with ensuring that our languages live on, we believe that our culture and values, our values also live on. It's a way of ensuring that the behavior and the social life of our people are also protected. And then the negative foreign attitude that we see will also be dropped by God's grace.
As the technical team noted in their project brief that was distributed to all Ejagham traditional councils and associations, language remains a life wire of society and a means for ensuring its conformity, stability, and growth. Nevertheless, as it was stressed in the first part of this documentary, language and language varieties are known to be disappearing daily, a trend that therefore calls for the documentation of existing languages and tongues to enable their continuity and relevance in their individual societies. The Ejagham clusters of languages is not an exception to this trend. It cannot be overemphasized that it is for this reason that Ejagham Tradition Center, EJT, in collaboration with the Department of Linguistics and Nigerian Languages, the University of Calabar, has systematically collated and harmonized all varieties of Ejagham dialects to propose a standard Ejagham language orthography for use in learning institutions. In Nigeria, this timely project has coincided with the recently released Nigerian language policy, which demands, among other things, that henceforth instructions in primary schools for 6 years of learning will be in the mother tongue. It is important to note that the implementation of this policy in schools domiciled in Ejagham areas depends on the availability of a standard Ejagham language orthography, approved by the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, NERDC, through which instructional materials for the teaching and learning of and in the language can be developed. It is in view of guaranteeing the success of this project, which anchors on the general acceptance of this proposed orthography, that this technical team visited all Ejagham Traditional Council and Association in Nigeria and Cameroon to exhibit its syllabic and tone structure, as well as its phonemic consonants and vowel charts. For Ejagham clusters in Nigeria, this exhibition is a prelude to a more robust engagement between NERDC and Ejagham traditional councils to ascertain local acceptance of this proposed orthography. In Cameroon, similar engagement with relevant government agencies shall take place to ensure that the proposed orthography is commissioned for use in learning institutions. It is not an easy venture, but certainly not an impossible one. The journey continues.